Hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, verse 2. We did verse 1 yesterday. And just before I got on this call, I kind of realized that I'm getting a little bit in my head and like a little bit in my ego, like, oh my God, look at me, I'm doing I'm doing a good thing, and look at me, I'm so cool kind of thing. And I just want to acknowledge that and get into my heart and pray to God to help me um, access His words and the depth of His words in a more real way. So I have a feeling these next few verses are going to be kind of short because they're more about like the logistical stuff, like where everything is and what people are talking about, specifically Duryodhan. Okay, so before I start, there is something that I read, and it is in Chaitanya Charan Prabhu's GitaDaily.com, the Bhagavad Gita chapter wise, but the first one. And there is an article called "Why is the book called Bhagavad Gita when it contains words other than Bhagwan?" So Bhagavad Gita means Geet is song, and Bhagvat is Bhagwan, God. So the song of God, basically, it is words that are directly from God to us. It's like the Bible in the Christian. I don't know anything about the Bible and whether God actually supposedly spoke those words, but this is about words. Bhagavad Gita means the song of God. But as we saw in chapter 1, there are verses by other people. The first verse was spoken by Dhritarashtra, and he breaks it down so well. So there are 700 verses in Gita. Krishna speaks 574 verses. Most of them, the bulk of them, Krishna speaks them, God speaks them. Arjun speaks 84, Sanjay speaks 41, and Dhritarashtra speaks just that one that we did. That's the first verse. So, he explains why this is called Bhagavad Gita, because the other people are kind of supporting and they're asking questions. Arjuna is raising questions, asking questions, and Sanjay is reporting and things like that. But it's still the song of God, it is still the words of God that are in the book. So that's why it's called that. But I love this breakdown of understanding that, Krishna speaks 574, Arjun speaks 84, Sanjay speaks 41, Dhritarashtra speaks 1. So it's like we know exactly who speaks how much. Okay, so now to get to the... so the first verse was Dhritarashtra asking Sanjay that in Kurukshetra, the place of dharma, O Sanjay, after my sons and Pandu's sons all got together and assembled ready to fight, what did they do? So then the next verse starts with Sanjay Uvach. Sanjay Uvach means Sanjay speaks. The first verse said Dhritarashtra Uvach, like Dhritarashtra speaks, and then the verse follows. So now Sanjay Uvach, Sanjay speaks, responds to Dhritarashtra, and he says, दृष्ट्वा तु पाण्डवानीकं व्यूढं दृष्ट्वा तु पाण्डवानीकं व्यूढं दुर्योधनस्तदा आचार्यम् उपसंगम्य राजा वचनम् अब्रवीत्. So what that means is दृष्ट्वा तु पाण्डवानीकं. That पाण्डवानीकं is two words, Pandav and Anikam. So Drishtva tu, after seeing, Drishtva is like Drishti is to see. So after seeing the Pandavs, Anikam, soldiers, Drishtva tu Pandavanikam, after seeing the soldiers of Pandavs, Vyudham, in their military formation. So Drishtva tu Pandavanikam Vyudham, after seeing the soldiers of Pandavas in their military formation, Duryodhanas tada, Duryodhan, who was the one leading the war, he's the eldest son of Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan tada, then at that time Duryodhan, Acharyam upasangamya, Acharya is a teacher. So both Pandavas and Kauravas had the same teacher. His name was Dronacharya. So, and Upasangamya means walked up to, he went up to, he approached. So, so Dronacharya was fighting from Duryodhan's side. He was not fighting from the Pandav side. So, what he's saying is Duryodhan at that time approached the Acharya. Duryodhanas tada acharyam upasangamya. Duryodhan then approached the Acharya. Raja vachanam abravit. The king then spoke. Vachana means words, abravit means spoke. The king then spoke his words, these words. Okay. Drishtva tu Pandavanikam vyudham. After seeing the soldiers of the Pandavas in the military formation, Duryodhanas tada, Duryodhan then, Acharyam upasangamya, approached the Acharya. Raja vachanam abravit. Raja means king. So the king then spoke these words. So there are a few things to note here. The word Raja can be interpreted in multiple ways. So it's not clear whether Sanjay is saying that Duryodhan is the king and the king then spoke these words, because Duryodhan is not the king. Dhritarashtra is the king at that time, because Pandu had died or passed away, I think, at that time. So Dhritarashtra was the king. So Raja Vachanam Pravit. So either he is calling Duryodhan the king just to appease and be very politically pandering to Dhritarashtra, or he was saying, "O king," to Dhritarashtra, or there could be other meanings, like that, like he was being that he was using the word Rajniti, which means like the political diplomacy. So he was like, there could be multiple meanings to why what that Raja means there, but the rest seem to be pretty clear. That after seeing, oh no, there are some aspects. So after seeing the soldiers of Pandavas in that military formation, Duryodhan then approached the Acharya and spoke these words. That's the thing. That's the verse. Now the question is, there were two big stalwarts in Duryodhan's team, in Duryodhan's troops. One was this Dronacharya, who is the Acharya, who taught both, who was like the kids, all 105 kids learned at the same time with the same guru, who is Dronacharya. So that he was one of them, and the other person who was a big stalwart in Duryodhan's team was Bhishma. Bhishma, you can look up the backstory of that. I'm not very clear and I don't want to give you wrong information. So, but Bhishma had given this pratigya, he had given this promise, like this, I am giving this promise and I'm going to like stand by it, kind of thing, that for the rest of his life he is always going to be protecting the person who is on the throne right now. He didn't say that I will protect who is right. He said I'm going to protect who is on the throne. So he did not want to be there, but he had to be there because of his promise. So the thing to note here is that possibly Duryodhan did not go to Bhishma, even though Bhishma was a much more elderly person. He was a bigger stalwart than Dronacharya, but he approached Dronacharya basically to say, okay, to talk to him and to like assess the situation, like how is their strength and how is our strength, and like I'm saying the word troops, but there has to be a better word for it, I think. I mean, or a different word. Sena is the word that's in Hindi, but I don't know what the word is in English. Anyways, so he's like looking at them, looking at Pandu's team. I'll call it team for now. So he's looking at Pandu's team and he's looking at his own team and he's like, I don't know. Like he wanted to assess it and just discuss. So the point to notice is that he went up to Dronacharya and not Bhishma, because Bhishma had already promised that he knew that Bhishma isn't going anywhere and Bhishma is going to be there for him because of his promise. But Dronacharya there might be something like, so he wanted to appease Dronacharya, and he wanted to pander to Dronacharya, and just kind of like, say, hey, I respect you, I respect your opinion, I want to get advice from you, I want to discuss things with you, so that Dronacharya would be more likely to stay with him and not go to the Pandav side. So that was, I think, the main thing. Oh, and I wanted to kind of highlight. I need to get a clearer, easier setup for this. Okay, I wanted to kind of highlight that I am not going to go jump ahead. So I have read the next few verses just to get an idea, but when I'm speaking here, I'm not going to be jumping ahead to the future verses and talk about like later on we realize this, so that's why this is relevant or something like that. I'm going to follow along in the story. I'm not going to like break the story's formation or whatever. Like, I'm not going to jump back and forth and and assume whatever. I'm going to follow along with where we are. So right now where we are is Dhritarashtra asked Sanjay, after the warriors assembled on either side, my sons and Pandu's sons, after they assembled on the place of Dharma, oh Sanjay, tell me, what did they do? And Sanjay said that Duryodhan looked at the Pandavs' soldiers and the formation, and he then walked up to the Acharya, and he spoke these words. So that's the story so far, and we will go to the next one, and yeah, that's verse 2 for today. See you next time. Bye. And this.